Twitch growth is basically impossible, and I'm going to tell you why. Let's roll the intro. What's up guys, Ryan B here. This is RyTech Gaming, and in this video we're taking a look at why Twitch growth is a lie. Now I know that seems really negative, at least towards Twitch. However, this is not meant to be a negative video. It's more of a perspective shift on how you view Twitch as a platform, because I do not think that Twitch is a growth platform. But of course, make sure you watch this video all the way through to the end, where I'm going to show you counterpoints to this, so that way you can actually still grow on the platform as long as you're putting in some effort. And as always guys, make sure you do the YouTube stuff, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you like similar content just like this, and then let me know in the comment section down below if you guys think that I missed anything or should have included something within this topic. So the first main point that we're going to be talking about is the fact that Twitch has no built-in algorithms for their platform. So with the definition that we're going with here, we're talking about algorithms in terms of social platforms. So it's usually an equation that they use to categorize content and send it out to other people on the platform. And Twitch has none of this. Versus platforms like YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, they all have really good algorithms. So imagine if you're on YouTube and you're watching a video like you're doing here, and then it's going to start to recommend you other videos that are similar to this first video. That is their algorithm at work. Now, of course, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, they all have really good algorithms to kind of push out content to keep you on the platform and keep you watching content that they think that you will like. That's why I think all those are growth platforms, whereas Twitch doesn't have any algorithms, so they're not really a growth platform. If you're a smaller creator on Twitch, there's really nothing you can use for your advantage to kind of grow as a smaller streamer. So in the confines of Twitch, they really do not care about smaller streamers. And this isn't a value judgment, it's just kind of the way it is as a platform. So I'm telling you, if you're kind of stuck to little to no viewers, it's not entirely your fault. Now there are things you can do to help that, but for the most part, there's really nothing you can absolutely grow with versus stuff like YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. You also kind of have to think about it in the perspective of a platform. So imagine you're Twitch and you have a group of new users. And your whole goal is to keep these new users on the platform for as long as possible to sell them more ad revenue so you can generate more money. And you can either send them to smaller streamers or you can send them to larger streamers. And again, as the platform, this is kind of how you're going to view the larger streamers or the smaller streamers. So the smaller streamers, they don't really have anybody watching them, so they don't really hold any sort of audience or any sort of attention. The larger streamers can hold a lot of people and keep attention for a long time. So you are incentivized as the platform to bring these new users over to these larger creators. And again, this is not a value judgment. I'm not saying that smaller creators are always worse than larger creators. Just in the terms of how a platform views it, they are more incentivized to send the new users over to the people that are already guaranteed to keep attention. That way they can keep those people on their platform for as long as possible. Now again, not just hating on Twitch here, this is kind of how all social platforms work. The bigger audience that you have, the more so they're gonna send out your content to other people across the platform because they think a lot of people engage and interact with this content. So as a smaller streamer, you're really at a disadvantage when it comes to Twitch because again, there's just no built-in algorithms for people to discover your content here on the platform. So due to the lack of algorithms, there's really no incentivized for Twitch to send out smaller creators' content to other people because they can't categorize it, they can't find like-minded people, and they have done things recently to try to interact with this, but it's just not to the level of stuff like YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. So this is one of the reasons why I think Twitch is not a growth platform. So point number 2 is going to be the lack of discoverability on the platform, which I know kind of ties into the whole no algorithms point, but this is kind of a different angle to the same problem. So the biggest issue with Twitch is that no one can really know that you're on Twitch without already knowing that you're on Twitch. So what I mean is, like, take me for example. I stream on Twitch, but in order for you to find me, you either have to know I'm already there, know what my name is on there to be able to find me, otherwise you're not really gonna discover me on the platform. Speaking of that, I do stream myself every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We tend to hop in the just chatting section for quite a while, then we hop into some games. That sounds like your kind of thing. Definitely check out the link in the description down below. So without that link, and without that call to action, you wouldn't really be able to find me there on Twitch without knowing my Twitch name exactly. Now, if you pull up Twitch right here, and you pull up the front page of Twitch, you can see a bunch of people here on the front page. But me personally, I have never once clicked on anybody from the front page. If you have, let me know in the comment section down below. The thing I do click on is there on the left side where it shows who I'm following. I usually click on those because obviously those are the people that I follow. Just recently, they did, however, add in a new recommended feed for similar, at least games that you've watched previously, and they kind of recommend you some content. But again, I personally have never clicked on anybody there yet. Let me know in the comment section if you have. So those two things there show you there's really a lack of discoverability on the platform. There's no way to really organize your content to really say, like, this is my kind of content, and people that you already follow and already like, there's no way to really push out other recommended content. They do have a recommended feature, but it's not backed, again, by any sort of algorithm, so it's not the best feature. It's not nearly to the capabilities of like YouTube or like TikTok. Now, of course, you could argue that there is discoverability if you're looking for specific games. So if you go to the game directory for any specific game that you're looking for, you can find a whole bunch of streamers there. You can even organize the streamers from smaller streamers to larger streamers instead of the normal larger to smaller. So instead of having just the large people right at the top, you can have the smallest people right at the top. Now, yeah, you could argue that that is somewhat discoverable, but this also brings us into point number 3, which is the oversaturation here on Twitch. So even if you did organize from smaller streamers to larger streamers and you were one of those smaller streamers in that category, you are most likely being super hidden from all the other people that are also in this same category, which is oversaturation. Because Twitch itself is already a niche platform. So it's a streaming platform that people play games on and stream the games that they're playing. So most people on the platform are making similar content. They have their games that they're playing and then they have the commentary over the games that they're playing. And I'm not knocking the content because I do similar content. You most likely do similar content. It's just kind of the way the platform is. So you have a bunch of people doing similar content and then in a similar pool of viewers. So it's very, very oversaturated for people. Now, again, there are certain things and certain games you can play to kind of get yourself out of this oversaturation thing. In fact, I even made a full video about it. You can click the card right there if you want to see the kind of the best games to stream to where you're not hidden between a million other streamers here on the platform. But again, that's point number 3 with the oversaturation on Twitch. So between the lack of algorithms, no discoverability, and of course, oversaturation on the platform, I think for those 3 reasons, I don't think Twitch is a really growth platform. So growth on Twitch just doesn't exist in my opinion. Unless, of course, you already have a decent to large audience to where it's going to start pushing your content to more people that way. Take in mind something like either YouTube or TikTok or even like Instagram, if that's your kind of thing. I think those are more growth styled platforms. You can start from 0 people and grow to a large audience, curating your content, getting people in a certain niche and all that kind of stuff there on those platforms. To me, those are growth platforms and Twitch just isn't. To me, I view Twitch more in a similar light to something like Patreon. So if I made a Patreon and I brought nobody to it, there's no way for people on Patreon to just discover my Patreon without knowing that it already exists. And that's kind of the way that I look at Twitch. Now, I know obviously Patreon and Twitch are completely different platforms, and I'm not saying they're equal. I'm just saying in the view that you're not really gonna grow from one without something else. So if you're on Twitch and you're looking to grow on Twitch, you really need to create content on platforms that are discoverable and that have algorithms to push out your content. So stuff like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, that kind of stuff. So if you want to grow on Twitch, if you have 0 to nobody or just very low counts, then you need to be creating content on more discoverable platforms, as I mentioned in many, many other videos. Now, of course, there are some things that I think Twitch does fantastic, and that I think Twitch is a more intimate style platform to where you can interact with your audience a little more one-on-one versus stuff like YouTube or TikTok. And I think that's what Twitch does very, very well. So I think people just need to adjust the way they look at Twitch and look at it more as a place to hang out with an already existing audience that you bring over to Twitch rather than a platform that you can really grow on without having an existing audience. And of course, guys, if you like this video, or if you learned something new, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and then of course we got some relevant content all right here.